Exar Kun is one of those Jedi whose story serves as a warning about the consequences of arrogance, ambition, and overconfidence with the Force. He wasn't your typical Jedi Knight. He came up in the Order as someone with obvious talent, but also an unshakable ego. He had an obsession with ancient Sith knowledge, which he initially hid from his Jedi mentors, despite being taught by Master Vodo Siosk Bass, one of the Order's wisest teachers. Kun constantly pushed boundaries, eager to test the limits of his power. For him, mastery over the Force was something to be conquered rather than embraced. Kun's journey into the dark side started with a fascination that became an obsession. He sought out knowledge from holocrons that had already been locked away for a reason. These artifacts held secrets of the Sith, knowledge that the Jedi Order had carefully restricted. But Kun had convinced himself that he was above temptation. He believed he could study Sith lore without succumbing to it, that he could gain control over darkness without it controlling him. That mentality was his undoing. This wasn't just youthful arrogance. Kun had a deep-rooted hunger for power, one that outmatched even his respect for the Force or the Jedi teachings. His curiosity took him to Onderon, where he encountered the lingering spirit of Freedon Nad, a long-dead Sith Lord who saw Kun's ambition as a perfect tool to spread Sith influence. Freedon Nad wasn't a guiding force, he was a manipulator, drawing Kun deeper into the secrets of the dark side. At first, Kun fought against Nad's attempts to corrupt him, but when Kun's own life was threatened, he chose to embrace the dark side rather than face his own mortality. In a critical moment, Kun decided that survival and power were worth the cost of his principles. This decision wasn't born out of desperation alone. It was an extension of the arrogance that had always been there. Kun's alliance with the Sith was a choice, a step that he took willingly. What sets Kun apart from other darkside users is his mastery of Sith sorcery and ancient techniques. He didn't just fall to the dark side, he embraced its history, its tools, and its philosophy, weaving it into a new, terrifying form of power. He studied Sith amulets, learning to channel darkside energy into blasts capable of incapacitating or killing with a simple gesture. These were techniques that very few could handle, even among the darkside practitioners. Kun's strength lay not just in his lightsaber skills, though he was very lethal in combat, but in his understanding of the Sith's more arcane powers. He tapped into ancient knowledge and weaponized it, setting him apart from other darkside users who relied on brute strength or raw aggression. One of his most infamous acts was using Sith alchemy to create monstrous beings known as Massassi. These creatures were once ordinary sentients, transformed by Kun's sorcery into loyal, twisted soldiers. This wasn't just cruelty for its own sake. Kun was building an army that would be bound to him alone, completely loyal and utterly ruthless. The Massassi became a key component of his power structure on Yavin 4, his base of operations. Kun's leadership was built on fear and control, not loyalty or respect. He ruled through sheer force, seeing others as tools to be manipulated, much like the Sith spirits he had once been manipulated by. His physical abilities were also formidable. He wielded a double-bladed lightsaber, one of the first Jedi to do so, and used it with a level of skill that made him almost untouchable in close combat. This wasn't a weapon that he stumbled upon. Kun created it himself, designing a lightsaber that would give him a strategic edge in battle. He was known to overpower opponents with his dual blades and unpredictable fighting style, which combined agility with raw power. This weapon became an extension of his personality, bold, dangerous, and innovative. His greatest and arguably darkest feat came when he bound his spirit to the physical structures on Yavin 4. In his final confrontation with the Jedi Order, he performed a ritual that split his spirit from his body, anchoring it to the temples he had built on the planet. This was a desperate last stand, but also a testament to his mastery over forbidden Sith techniques. He knew he couldn't defeat the entire Jedi Order outright, so he chose a form of survival that allowed him to outlast his enemies. This act trapped him in a sort of limbo, neither fully alive nor truly dead, haunting Yavin 4 as a shadow of his former self. For centuries, his spirit lingered, waiting for the chance to influence and corrupt once again. Exar Kun's legacy is all about ambition unchecked. Unlike some dark side users who fall because they're weak or desperate, Kun's fall was driven by a belief that he was too powerful to be corrupted. He saw himself as an exception, someone who could explore forbidden knowledge without consequence. Even in the end, when his physical form was destroyed, he found a way to cheat death, to exist beyond the limitations of mortality. But that existence was empty, reduced to manipulating and hunting rather than leading and conquering. He remains one of the few Jedi turned Sith who fully committed to the Sith way, not just as a means to an end, but as a philosophy. For Kun, the Sith represented the ultimate freedom to pursue power without restriction. That freedom, ironically, became his prison. His story is one of transformation, a Jedi who sought knowledge and strength, ultimately becoming a creature bound by his own dark ambitions, left to haunt the ruins of his own empire. In the end, Kun became a cautionary tale, a reminder of what happens when a Jedi's desire for powers takes over their commitment to the Force itself. Thanks for watching today's video about Exar Kun. If you want to know more about him, I can cover that in a deeper lore video. Thanks for your time today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video right here on Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember, the Force will be with you. Always.